New York City, where Arthur Tracy, the street singer, awaits our company for a stroll down memory lane.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? All my dear friends in Great Britain. This is Arthur Tracy, the street singer, speaking to you from my apartment in New York.
Martha, rambling rose of the wildwood. Martha, with your fragrance divine. Martha, when I look for your love light, I awake with a sigh, and I find you are gone.
He's 94 years old. He has sensational stories from the glamorous world of showbiz to the underworld of Prohibition gangland. So, Arthur Tracy, the street singer, take us, if you would, back to where it all began.
My mother came from a family of merchants. They were in the fish business. My father, however, came from a cantorial and rabbinical sect, and he wanted me once to become both a rabbi and a cantor. But my mother was leaning toward business, and she said to me, when I finally did break into the theater, this is long before street singer days, my mother said, theater's not nice. So I said, Ma, I love to sing, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll take 5 years. If in those 5 years I don't make it, I will then go into business. 5 years were up, and she said, well, and I said, well, I didn't make it, Ma. But I said, if I leave this, after spending 5 years, I've acquainted myself with managers, producers, actors, actresses, and agents, and so on. I'll have to spend 5 years in some other kind of business, and if I don't make it there, I'll have to spend a third series of 5 years, and I'll just wind up to be a bum. But I said, I'll take 1 year more. On the 6th year, if I don't make it, you have my solemn promise, I'll quit. Okay, now the 6 years are up, and she said, well, and I said, well, Ma, I know I made a promise, but give me 1 year more. I said, Ma, I'm thinking of the biblical story about the 7 lean cows and the 7 fat cows. If I don't make it on the 7th year, solemnly I promise I will quit.
Passing down the street today, some flowers I chanced to see. So I sent them right away to someone dear to me. To Mother with love, I'm sending a lovely bouquet, a rose or two, some violets blue. To Mother with love, I said to myself that maybe she's lonely today. These words I know will please her so. To Mother with love, I'd give up all that I possess to make her glad. The wrinkled face that I love so must never be sad. I picture her smile when somebody knocks at her door with flowers so gay, a card to say, to Mother with love.
Shortly after I adopted the title of street singer, I picked up a $3,000 check I then took that check, went to my mother, and I showed it to her, I held it up to her, and I said, "Ma, look at this. You still want me to quit?" Oh, she said, "Away with you. Go on, boy, and good luck." But you know, the thing is that my father, every time my mother said business, my father would follow her right up and say, "Son, you do the thing that you love, and you're bound to be successful."
It's my mother's birthday today. I'm on my way with a lovely bouquet. For me, it's the happiest day. I won't be late at her old cottage gate. I'll greet her with a kiss, for that I know she yearns, and then I'll say, "God bless you, many happy returns." These roses will soon fade away, but she will know what they mean to convey, for it's my mother's birthday.
My mother brought her sister-in-law to catch me. That was the first time they caught me singing in public. And I asked my sister at the time, I said, "Anita, what did Mom say? What did she say when she said, well, he's really good. He's really good." And of course, that also gave me courage. I had the blessing of my mother. And I always wanted, that's the way I was brought up, I always wanted the blessing of my parents. I always came to them for advice and a blessing. Enrico Caruso was the greatest tenor who ever lived, or who shall ever live. I bought his recordings and fell in love with Caruso's voice, his rendition, and so on. And I would crank the Victrola, you know, and while the record was playing, I would listen and make notes on the sheet music of every nuance, everything that he did. If he held a note, I put a hold on it. If he swelled a note or diminished the volume, everything he did, so that when I do an aria today, as I did in all my films, of course I'm using the technique that I learned from Caruso.
I'm not crying. What good would it do? What good would it do? But when I think of you, there's rain in my eyes.
It was in Chicago. I was coming back from dinner to the hotel, and I heard the shouts of "Caruso dead." I bought every newspaper, went back to bed. I read it with tears streaming down my cheeks. I'm cold now. This very moment, I'm just cold reliving that scene. And I cried because to me, Caruso was a god.
I'm not crying. What good would it do? What good would it do? But when I think of you, there's rain in my eyes.
I would like to give you a little description of the boardwalk in Atlantic City. It's wood boards, and it runs for 5 miles. And Atlantic City was a resort that attracted everybody who was anybody. They had 3 theaters there where a lot of shows would open, have their openings and tryouts and so on. And you'd see all the stars. You'd see Caruso in a rolling chair, or you'd see Al Jolson. Jolson stayed at the Ambassador Hotel, which is at one end of the boardwalk, and Jolson was in a wheelchair being pushed with his wife. And Jolson was a bit of an exhibitionist, and at least he loved to attract people and people to notice him. And he stood up on the seat of the chair as the pusher was pushing the chair, and he would just start pointing toward the ocean for any motion to attract the attention of the people. There's Jolson, there's Jolson.
What appeals to me is just your charm and dignity, not what you wear, but just an air of great repose. You are quite perfect from your head down to your toes, both night and day. I am moved to say, lovely to look at, delightful to know, and heaven to kiss. A combination like this is quite my most impossible scheme come true. Imagine finding a dream like you. You're lovely to look at, it's thrilling to hold you terribly tight. For we're together, the moon is new, and oh, it's lovely to look at you tonight. It's thrilling to hold you terribly tight. For we're together, the moon is new, and oh, it's so lovely to look at you tonight.